You are listening to John Henry Drums. You are about to hear the words of another great worthy warrior, Dr. John Henrick Clarke.
Let's give it up. Let Dr. Clarke know we're in the house. Dr. John Henry Clarke. He's ready to go. He doesn't need an introduction. Here he is, Dr. John Henry Clarke, all the way from Holly Springs, Alabama, Columbus, Georgia. Here he is, Dr. Clarke. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We've got a lot of work to do tonight because many times we use words very poorly. I said recently, black people need to take a course in how to listen. Because we talk well, but we do not listen well. Our oppressor is a master teacher. He even teaches us what to do about him. He knows we're not going to learn the lesson because we haven't listened to the lesson very well. He announces a new world order that is not new at all. It's an extension of the old world order. It's an extension of a plan that he has repeated throughout the world. And that plan is whosoever controls the world is going to be a European, one way or the other. It's going to be a European or someone allied with a European. This is why there are some non-Europeans collaborating with Europeans to control the world with the agreement that all of them are going to control us. And we miss the point because we do not know that we are the world's richest people. We have never been a minority. We number 1 billion people on the face of the earth. A continent, 12 million square miles, belongs to us by every law of God and man. Every inch of it, every blade of grass, every grain of sand belongs to us. And we do not understand the message of our greatest messengers who come among us, live and die, and some are killed in front of us, and we never protected them. Someone asked me recently, do you think we will have another Malcolm X? And my answer was, what did you do with the first one? Faith is stingy in how it sends great men and great leaders and great messages among you. And if you don't make the best use of them, you're going to have to wait a long time before they send another. You're going to have to understand that the major thing we lost in the 15th and the 16th century was the concept of nation management, nation governance. There is not a single black nation on the face of the earth where blacks manage the wealth-producing resources in their own country. until you learn how to manage wealth and manage it well, you will not manage a nation. Until you understand the messages that was given to you by able men in the 20th century, till you understand the self-reliance concept of Booker T. Washington. Stop calling him an Uncle Tom and stop calling him conservative. He was radical, if you understand. He was a strategist whose strategy didn't always work. But he was, if he scratched his head when nothing itched, and if he said yes when he didn't mean yes, he did some quiet timing so that another generation can live to say hell no. And you missed the point. When you grew strong enough to stand before your enemies and say hell no, you wanted to integrate into your enemy. You betrayed Booker Washington. You didn't read his Atlanta Cotton Expedition speech. That was not a compromise. That was a con game. And Booker T. Washington stood before all those people at a critical time in our history at the end of the 19th century. He tried to be all things to all people. He had a little for the northerner, little for the southerner, little for the blacks. And each time he made one of those high points, he got some more money and kept some more black schools open. So you can build shoes, have repair shops, print shops, entrepreneurship in the black community. Now you got Koreans, everybody running stores in your community except you. Who told you your brain can't conceive and run a store? Now my mental notes for tonight is Africa and the New World Order. I have said there is no New World Order. It's a continuation of the old world order. And that old world order started in Europe. It started among a hungry people coming out of a thawed-out icebox. Stingy, hungry, land poor, resource poor, who decided that they were going to control everything in sight. And if you don't understand that, you're missing the point in how the world operates. If you don't understand white people, you're not going to understand pseudo-white people who do white people's work. You're not going to understand why Ethiopia has been destroyed by pseudo-white people in North Africa, mainly Libya. How then could a small nation like Eritrea, 30 times smaller than Ethiopia, destroy the effectiveness of a big nation like Ethiopia? No serious discussion in the black community. No serious discussion in how fundamentalist Islam played a role in the destruction of an old African nation. The people who went down that Nile and made the nation called Egypt came from Ethiopia. Ethiopia, not Egypt, is the senior nation in all Africa. Now you need to read the chapter in Chancellor Williams' book, Destruction of Black Civilization. It's called Egypt, Ethiopia's Oldest Daughter. Then in John Jackson's Introduction to African Civilization, read the chapter called Ethiopia and the Evolution of Civilization. Then read John Jackson's little pamphlet, Ethiopia and the Origin of Civilization. There's an exhibition at the Schomburg Collection right now. It says that Ethiopia was one of the first Christian nations of the world. Ethiopia was not one of the first Christian nations of the world. Ethiopia was the first Christian nation of the world. It was a Christian nation at a time when Europeans were being killed for being Christians. And because you do not understand the flow of history, you do not understand yesterday, you do not understand the day. And you do not understand people who say the same thing using different situations and different words. Now, Booker Washington's concept of self-determination and self-reliance used one method. Marcus Garvey was stimulated by Booker T. Washington's program. W.E.B. Du Bois was showing you how to hold it all together politically. Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X would come along about the lost nation away from home. All of them were saying the same thing, using different words in different situations. Self-reliance, take care of yourself, feed yourself, clothe your children, educate your children. They were trying to give us back what the slave trade and colonialism took away. Among the 7 books I have written since I've been blind, I have one waiting to be published called Who Betrayed the African World Revolution and Other Major Speeches. I maintain that there was a moment in our history when our enemy thought we were coming to power. And we could have come to power because our enemy was ready to make concessions to us. Then he discovered all of us were jiving. The civil rights people were playing games. They weren't protecting their own community. They were fighting to become a part of someone else's thing other than to build their own thing. They were sending their children into white schools where they're being scarred, cut to pieces psychologically. Instead of strengthening the schools in our community to the point where they would be so good that whites want to come to our schools, they want to go into white schools where white people spit on them. We were missing the point. And while we were going through the ceremony of integration, the substance of planning nationhood missed the point altogether and missed the connection that we had to have with other people in the African world. In the United States, we are a nation within a nation searching for a nationality. Now, can you understand what I mean? We are the most oppressed, the most maligned, the most denied, and the most wounded of all the black people of the earth. Why is that condition so prevailing here in the United States? It prevails in the Caribbean islands. I didn't say that was a paradise. Slavery existed there too and was just as bad. They had whipping bosses there. But what changed the nature of slavery and the attitude there? They became the majority. And they had a lazy colonizer who let them do the petty administrative work and gave them the illusion of nation. We didn't even have the illusion of nation in the United States. In Columbus, Georgia, a white man drove the truck that picked up the night soil from the privies, the outhouses. All the black people did to gathered and poured on, but it did not do anything as mechanical as drive the truck. They made a special point in this country, keeping us away from technology. In the Caribbean islands, they drove the small ship, mended the small ships, and they were police constables and schoolmasters and district something and others. So they had the illusion of nation, and they had another illusion, which some of them still have, the illusion of England as the motherland.